Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. My name is Katie Dodd, and I'm a nutrition entrepreneur. I spent 7 years as a side hustler before diving into entrepreneurship full time. Before making the leap, I was bringing in 6 figures through my side hustle. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the 120th episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast, Cultivating Resilience. Now, the word resilience has been on my heart a lot lately. I feel like it's a word that I'm leaning on a lot right now in the season I'm going through. And so usually what I do when I find a word I love, I like to go to Google. I'm an SEO person, so this is the most SEO optimized definition of resiliency, meaning if you search this in Google, it's what comes up. So the definition of resiliency, according to the first search on Google, is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Toughness. The capacity to recover quickly from difficulty. Most dietitians, we are perfectionists or recovering perfectionists. And so often we spend our lives trying to get everything perfect so we will never fail. We want to avoid difficulty at all costs. We want everything to be smooth sailing. But we know, no matter how hard we try, difficulties always come, right? I have found that in life, in business, and everything, there are very similar patterns of ups and downs. We see this in business. Everything is awesome. Everything is going like amazing. But then things go down and you feel like this isn't working. No one's seeing my stuff. No one's buying. Who do I think I am? What's going on? Then things go up again. Everything is awesome. And it's just this series of ups and downs that we see in life. And it's not just in business, right? It is, I think of it in lots of things. Diving specific into some business areas, it could be, maybe your private practice working with clients, finding freelance writing gigs, making sales. It could be blogging. It could be your traffic on blogging. Blogging's an up and down game, guys. It's very interesting. But we also see up and downs in our personal life. I talk to people a lot about if you have a dream in your heart and you want to do it now. Because so often people are waiting for the perfect time. And I always tell people there's no perfect time. We don't know what tomorrow holds. For us, for people we love, there could be issues in relationships, in work, in health, in finances. A pandemic can happen, right? Like life is unpredictable and it is full of amazing highs and heartbreaking lows. And that just is life, right? We see this in business, we see this in our personal lives, and we know that bleeds over and affects our business life, right? So I think one of my things about resiliency, and resiliency is the ability to recover quickly. So when you start going down, you might not hit as low, and then you are more quick to go back up. And the reason why I'm so into resiliency lately is because the downs that I see, it really holds back a lot of side hustlers. And I'm kind of talking about business, but let's be honest, I'm talking about life too. It's during the downs when things aren't working. Maybe you started your side hustle and you're still in the down. You haven't reached the peak yet. It's coming. Don't worry. But, if you're in a down, the downs is when people give up. Right? When everything's awesome, you are crushing it. It's so easy to feel like business is awesome. My side hustle is awesome. But it's when things go downhill, people give up. They decide this doesn't work anymore. It's too hard. I'm not good enough. I guess I followed the wrong path. And so many people give up. Even in the blogging world, so many people give up before they reach success and before they reach the gold on the other side of, there's like this, I'm not going to go to that story, but there's a really good story about, I'm not going to go into it now. I'm going to keep moving on. But too many people give up when they're in the downs. And it also contributes to a lot of stop starts. You start, you stop, you start, you stop. You're someone who's done a million things, right? You start something, but you don't finish it. You just start this and it doesn't work. So you start this and you're always idea hopping, right? And the start stops, oh my goodness, they are big killers of having success and reaching our dreams. Those downs, they really contribute to doubt, us doubting ourselves, doubting our ability to have success. And the downs are the destroyers of dreams. When we experiencing these downs, it makes you feel like, oh my gosh, this isn't possible. And we give up on our dreams. And if you know me, I love dreaming big. And when I see people give up on their dreams, it breaks my heart. If only people knew, if they were able to cultivate resiliency and continue on the path that they're on, another up will come, right? It's not just ups, it's not just downs, it's ups and downs, business and life. So now, obviously, I'm not like a psychologist or mental health professional here, but I will say the more I've worked on my mindset, I've worked on my business, I've worked with a business coach, I feel like so much of my journey is just developing my mindset and working on my mental health and developing more confidence and more resiliency. So, just some advice if you're feeling like, yes, I totally hear you. When the downs come, holy crap, it just, hits me like a ton of bricks. So, what can we do to cultivate that resiliency? So, I think the first thing we could do is anticipate the downs. If we understand that life is full of beautiful ups and downs, when the downs come, we're not going to be like, oh my gosh, everything, the sky is falling. We'll be like, okay, here it is. That's okay. I knew you were coming. Continue to work on your mindset. I think for everyone listening, my biggest advice for you all is work on your mindset. I feel like mindset is one of those things that it just almost doesn't make sense until you're in it and you're like, oh yeah, I get it. Being my journey for those of you who followed me from being a side hustler working for other people to being a side hustler building my own brand to leaving my full-time job and becoming a full hustler. It all came from changing my mindset. And I would have never believed it until I was, in that situation. I tell people, I'm going to go on a tangent and I'll come right back. But I actually said this a couple days ago, that when it comes to your side hustle, when it comes to your business, when it comes to whatever you want to do, the one thing that's going to hold you back is you. It's you against you. It's those limiting beliefs that you have. You are the one who's going to limit you and think of what is possible and what isn't possible. Because the truth of the matter is, especially in this online world, there is no cap on the number of people you can reach, the amount of impact you can make, and the amount of money you can make. There is no cap. The only limiting thing is us and our minds. So it's so important to work on your mindset. And that's also going to help when you're going through the lows, because you're going to be developing that resiliency, being able to recover quicker from those difficulties and those downs. So developing resiliency is really important. I think a lot of it is surrounding yourself with community. I'm part of a business mastermind. I built communities within Dietitian Side Hustle, including the Blogging Accelerator program, the Blog Boss Mastermind. And these are amazing communities that they build me up. These are like my people. I am encouraged by them. I am inspired by them. And I think it's really important to develop a really good, healthy community who's going to support you through the highs and lows and isn't going to be like, see, I told you this wouldn't work when you're in a low. The next piece is don't give up. I don't really believe in failure. I actually believe that I think it's a good thing. I think that failure is the best teacher. I learned so much more from failure than I ever have from nonstop success. I'm not going to lie, success feels good, but it's in those failures where you actually learn the most. It's like failure is the best teacher. The only time it's really true failure is if you give up, if you quit, if you don't take the time to learn those lessons that are there in failure. So my advice is when you're in the downs, don't give up. Now, you may need to kind of reflect on things and understand that the season you're in, what you're doing might look different. You might need to slow down, but don't stop walking. Don't take off your shoes. You might have to take a different path. You might have to maybe sit down for a minute and take a breather, but don't give up. Respect the season you're in, especially if you're dealing with anything related to mental health. Give yourself grace, but don't give up, because again, that other up is coming. And so I guess that's my biggest tip, is just don't stop. I went to the American Psychological Association. Is that the right word? Here it is. American Psychological Association, the APA, because I'm like, I need to pull up some stuff from the big guns. And I searched resilience on their website, and it's, I'm just going to read it to you and I'm going to talk about it because I think it's a really good little blurb they have. It's only like a couple paragraphs long, but according to the APA, resilience is the process and outcome of successfully adapting to difficult or challenging life experiences, especially through mental, emotional, behavioral flexibility and adjustment to external and internal demands. A few things I want to highlight from there. Adapting. Resiliency is about adapting. Again, it's where we might recognize I need to slow down, I need to pivot, I need to do something different. Don't give up. Adapt. Being flexible and adjustment. I actually bolded those words when I put it on my little Word doc. I'm like, adapting, flexibility, adjustment. Those are really wonderful words to fall back on when it comes to resiliency when you're experiencing a down in your business or whatever it may be. Continuing on. From the APA, a number of factors contribute to how well people adapt to adversities, predominant among them, the way in which individuals view and engage in the world, the availability and quality of social resources, specific coping strategies. Psychological research demonstrates that the resources and skills associated with more positive adaptation, meaning a greater resiliency, can be cultivated and practiced. So many things. So my audio just got cut off and I'm coming back in. I feel like I just ended that like super excited, but I just finished reading that end of that quote from the APA about resiliency. And I think one of the things I loved about what I just read is I think so often when we think about who we are as people, we either think I am this or I am not this. So thinking of something like resiliency, you might think like, I don't have a lot of resiliency, man. I don't recover quick from difficulties. I just like, man, when things go down, I just crumble, I give up, I hop ship. And you look at other people and you think I can never be like them. But our brains are amazing. Like they really are what we can do and what we can accomplish. But resiliency is a skill that can be cultivated and practiced. It is something that you could learn, that you can develop, and that you can do better. And I do believe that if we continue to work on improving our resiliency, it's going to be better results for our side hustle, for our business, our ability to impact people, and dare I say, for our lives, right? Because, we got work, we got life, but it really is it's all together, right? They really aren't that separate. They overlap so much. But I hope that you picked up on the things that really help people adapt well, like these things that resilient people have. And one of the big ones is the ways in which people view and engage in the world. So those little shifts of even if we start anticipating the downs, understanding that life is a series of ups and downs. And when the downs happen, you know what? We're kind of prepared for it. Continuing to work on our mindset. That changes how we view the world, how we show up, how we engage in the world. They talked about the availability and quality of social resources. So again, surrounding yourself with the right people. They talked about specific coping strategies. I'm always an advocate for counseling. So I always think that there's so much to learn for counseling. But there's all kinds of things that we can continue to do and learn to develop a more resilient self. So I know this is kind of a high level topic that I wanted to talk to you guys about today, but resiliency has been something on my heart. And again, I just see with these ups and downs in business and life, when people hit the downs, it destroys people's dreams. And I really want each and every one of you who are listening to relentlessly pursue the dreams that you have in the heart, because I know that each and every one of you, if you were able to take those ideas in your head and those dreams in your heart and put them out into the world would be radically changed by these amazing dreams that you have. And your life would be amazingly changed as well. And you would just, oh my gosh, so many good things. I don't want to see your dreams destroyed. So that's why I want to talk to you guys about resiliency a little bit, and the fact that we all can cultivate resiliency, right? So I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about a virtual event coming up that I'm very excited for. And actually it does kind of pull in resiliency a little bit. So I think I've spoken before on the podcast. Sometimes I get mixed up on what I say here, what I'm saying on social. I talk a lot of places. But Nutrition BizCon. Nutrition BizCon is an event that I have done with my friends Javier and Marissa Carlin, and we did a virtual Nutrition BizCon, I think around last spring. It was amazing. It was so good that we were like, we got to do this in person. We got to do this again. So we got together and we came up with a 2-day event that we were going to do in beautiful Clearwater, Florida, and we were going to have people come in person. We were going to have virtual people on too, and it was going to be an amazing conference. And so it was initially scheduled for September 30th through October 1st, so 2 days. It was our first live event. We were so excited. Then something happened very quickly. Something called Hurricane Ian. Hurricane Ian came. It ended up hitting Florida. It really did have some devastating effects. They expected it to go into Tampa, which is near Clearwater. It did end up going more south, but we were faced with the situation where we're like, we have all these people who are planning to fly in. It's like, I feel like hurricanes, it's like being stalked by a turtle. They're very slow, but it's like, it happened fast, but it's also slow. So we made this decision, I think about 5 days out, that we needed to cancel this live event. And it was a bummer. I've got to tell you, when I initially planned to go there, not only was I excited about being able to speak both of these days and to really help build up and inspire other dietitians. I think I've spoken before about just the power of live events and how I love virtual. I love podcasts. I love all of this, but nothing can beat the energy of being in the room with people who are leveling up like you are. And I talk so much about mindset. And for me, that's the power of live events, like what Nutrition BizCon is going to be. It's all about the mindset shifts, the dreaming big and dreaming bigger, and believing in yourself and having other people believe in you, and you just leave like, I'm going to take over the world. Live events are awesome. But not only was I excited about that live event, but I planned a family vacation around this event. So I was planning to fly my family into Florida, enjoy a couple days, do Nutrition BizCon, then my family was going to go live our best lives in Disney World. I was going to send the family back home, and then I was going to stay in Orlando for FNCE, the Food Nutrition Conference and Expo. So I had this whole trip planned, and obviously we had to cancel Nutrition BizCon. I had to cancel the first part of this trip. My kids were so bummed. My daughter was devastated. We were going to stay in this super cute Airbnb on the beach, and they were super, super bummed because that didn't happen. So anyways, that's a side note, but having to cancel Nutrition BizCon was a big bummer. We were pretty unhappy about it, right? But it's something we couldn't control. There was a hurricane that literally was scheduled to hit right when everyone was going to be flying in. And so, we made the decision to cancel, but we were resilient. We didn't just scrap this puppy. We decided to bring it back in December. And I will say, I think that it was a really good choice because there's actually people who weren't able to come when it was in end of September, beginning of October, and they were able to come in December. And it's just given us more time to like dream big on what is this really going to be like, and just to dream and scheme. And it's going to be like bigger and better than ever. So I am airing this episode on November 30th. I know a lot of you listen to these episodes at different times, but Nutrition BizCon is going to be on December 10th and 11th. So it's like right around the corner, and I'm so excited for it. It's an in-person event, but we have virtual tickets, and those virtual tickets are available for only $97. Replays are available. I know that's a big question for people because December 10th and 11th is a weekend. It's a Saturday, Sunday, and I know we're pretty close to it. But what I can say about Nutrition BizCon is that it is going to be inspirational, motivational. It's going to provide epic trainings like for less than $100. Like it's going to be so amazing. Again, replays if you can't make the whole event. Even being virtual, there's going to be so much energy, and being live on the virtual, I always recommend that just because you get the most out of it. But knowing like, if you're like, oh shoot, I got to go to a barbecue with the family Sunday afternoon, that's okay. You can catch the replay later. So the 2-day business event of Nutrition BizCon is designed to include, networking, the inspiration, focus on action and momentum, and just really moving forward in your business, your side hustle, whatever it is. I will be speaking both days. And, I'm still tweaking my PowerPoints, but because you guys know I like a good PowerPoint, but it's going to be really, really good, and I'm very excited. So if anyone is interested in Nutrition BizCon, the virtual tickets, you can go to www.katiedodd.com. The link is there for buying your virtual ticket for just $97. So yeah. I wanted to mention that to you, but I'm like, we can kind of pull in resiliency, right? Because like we were resilient, we didn't give up. But yeah, I'm really excited about this event and excited to go back to Florida and to hang out with dietitian friends because dietitians are the best. So I hope that this podcast episode was meaningful to you. I hope that it maybe shifted your perspective a little bit on how we anticipate business, life, understanding that, we never just hit it big and everything's awesome, right? Life is this long journey. So is our business. And if we really are in it for the long run, then it's really important that we continue to develop these skills of being more resilient, cultivating resiliency. And yeah, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to learn more about how we could work together, always go to katiedodd.com. It's my Linktree page, so the links always change based on whatever I'm promoting or talking about. But if you scroll down to the bottom, there's always like ways we could work together, free trainings, free webinars, all kinds of freebies in there. So go there to check out more about how we could work together. Have such an amazing week, guys. Bye.